When you're in the middle of active addiction, you have some people around you who are probably trying to talk sense into you. Probably your
Mm,
family members, right? Like your wife or your parent or your sister or somebody, somebody close to you. And what ends up happening is you end up in a power struggle with that person. And they're trying to get your attention and tell you you've got a problem and you're ruining your life and you're ruining their life and you're being a terrible person. And the more they do that, the more you get caught in self pity and resentment. And you're
yes.
focused on what they're doing wrong. And it's the biggest roadblock to recovery ever because addiction thrives on self pity and resentment. And if someone's playing the villain and they have this active villain role in your life, you're just going to focus on that forever. How they're in the wrong.
Yeah.
And even people that want to change get locked into a power struggle because they're in this like war with this person and they're just like, I'll just get drunk at you, you know? So
Yes,
it's
absolutely.
about
And I
untangling that
found, like
dynamic.
found in my life that, this would often come up in arguments, ultimatums,
Hmm.
intervention, these sorts
Hmm.
of things, and I felt like they were pushing me further away from
Yes.
getting well into this deep spiral of shame and regret.
Yeah. Can I ask you about that? I don't know
Yeah,
how
of
open yeah,
course.
can you tell me about that? I'm interested.
Yeah, so I suppose my addiction began as a bit of a party boy where I would really enjoy myself, be the life of the party, be an enabler for other people, and until as the years progressed, became I became reliant on alcohol to
Uh-huh.
get through life. So
Uh-huh.
I needed it to then be able to go to a party. I felt like I needed it to be able to socialize. Then I would have these massive nights. And what would eventually happen is I'd wake up the next day in fear and shame and regret. And I would pick up the bottle earlier and earlier the next day to sort of numb that anxiety surrounding that. And then at my worst, it became a full dependency where it was going all the time,
Like a
that
hamster in
loop.
the wheel where you just have to keep chasing it and you can't stop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what was your family or the people around you, how were they responding to that?
Yeah, anger, deep fear. I believe that they were protecting themselves in ways like all of that anger was a protection mechanism, like particularly with my wife and my children, because ultimately they were always loved. I was never violent, but it was an unsafe, unhappy, dysfunctional place to be.
Mhm. Yeah. And so they would get angry with you and then what would happen? Like what was the dynamic there?
I became more secretive in the way that I would consume.
Mhm.
So I would do it in places or away. I would either take myself away from the environment that I was in,
Mhm.
or I would create a micro environment, whether that's I'm out in the garden doing gardening, or I'm down in the shed doing
Classic. I'm in the
work, or
garage doing man stuff. Right, yeah.
yeah,
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 yeah.
like
Right, and that escalates it because when you have to sneak drink, you choose something that gets the job done quickly and you have to guzzle it down,
yes,
and so then that
that's it.
dependency is now on a fast track. Like, it puts it on
Mm,
fire when you get in the sneak mode, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
I can relate to all of this.
Yeah, and then the cycle goes, and then they're frustrated, and then they get obsessed with finding you and finding the
Yeah,
evidence, and they get I call it, like, the CSI badge, like, they get a whole, like, investigator's
yeah.
degree, and then it's this cat mouse thing that's really hard to get people out of, and then you spend so much time trying to, like, get away with it that you don't even look at what's really happening.